we just watched is The Bodyguards and Assassins, distributed by Bona Film in 2009. Watching film is a special way for people to spend their leisure time. With the development of China's economy, the film industry is developing very fast. Today we are going to have a cup of tea at the home movie theater of a special guest. He helps to sourcing finance for China's biggest privately owned film distributor. He is Mason Xu, the Chief Financial Officer of Bona Film. Hi,
Hello,
Mason.
everyone. Hi.
Welcome to our Tea House program.
It's an honor to be here.
Okay, in our program, I prepared two kinds of tea for you. One is pu'er tea,
Okay.
and one is biluochun, which is from your hometown Jiangsu province.
Yeah.
The film plays an important role in our life, and the tea reflects the life theory. And so today I want to combine the theory of tea, film, and life together, and to talk about this topic with you.
Sounds like definitely a very interesting topic to me.
Yes, and in today's program, Mason will share his love of film and how he developed his understanding of China's film industry. And perhaps more importantly, Mason will also tell us how he helped Bona Film get listed on US stock market last December.
Mr. Mason Xu is Chief Financial Officer of Bona Film Group Incorporated since June 2010. Prior to joining the company, he had served as the Chief Financial Officer for China Digital TV Holding Company Limited, a New York Stock Exchange-listed company from 2006 to 2010, and also as an Executive Vice President of that company from 2009 to 2010. Mr. Xu was an investment professional at CDH Venture Partners from 2005 to 2006. He was at Intel China Limited from 2003 to 2005, where he was a senior financial analyst and then strategic program manager. Mr. Xu has also held a variety of sales and marketing positions in his earlier career. Mr. Xu holds a Bachelor of Economics degree in Business Administration and a Bachelor of Arts degree in English from Tsinghua University with highest distinction and an MBA degree from the Harvard Business School.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get started.
Thank you. I'm definitely thrilled to be here and talk about one of the most exciting topics I could think of, which is the film. Yeah.
Okay, I know that film plays an important part in your life. And are there any particular movie that changed your life?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, there's this 1994 film, released in 1994, Shawshank Redemption. It's an obviously worldwide recognized film title. From that film title, I learned, a lot about what is life, what is perseverance, what you should do under predicament, and what you could do to help fight, unfairness.
And how do you think the difference between Chinese film and Hollywood film?
I would say, in a nutshell, in Hollywood, a lot of works have been proven not only commercially successful, but artistically very valuable. In the meantime, we should recognize that China is still lagging behind that. We have certain film titles which are commercially successful. We also have artistic-driven films in China, but at this moment, I found very rare examples which could be used as perfect combination of these two, artistic value and commercial success.
And what do you think are the key factors that influence or decide China's film to become internationally successful?
I would say the Chinese directors need to go deeper, dig deeper into the bottom of people's hearts and trying to find out what really touches people. Okay, there could be a lot of differences between different societies in terms of political system, ideology, religion, theories, but in the meantime, we should recognize that a lot of things transcend culture, transcend language, and transcend ideology. Those could be, the share of aspirations for love, for friendship, for brotherhood and sisterhood, the fight for one's fate, the strive of one's personal success, professional success.
Okay, I think it's tea time.
Okay.
Let's have a cup of tea now.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of tea, but I don't know how to practice those complicated techniques. Okay. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As good as I imagined.
I know that you just returned from Europe, the
Yes.
Cannes International Festival.
Yes.
How successful was your trip?
It was, generally speaking, pretty successful. I went there trying to learn, picking up my learning curve about the film industry. I joined this industry approximately a year ago. Okay, so I'm still ramping up my learning curve. And over there, I got to network with a lot of friends, international friends, from the United States, from Canada, and I try to learn how a film festival is operated. What kind of great film titles should be expected in the next 12 months, etc., etc. So I in those regards, I got to know a lot of new friends, and got to watch a lot of new film titles, including Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris. I thought it's a pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
And in the international market, what do you think are the advantages and the challenges for Chinese film?
Advantages would be, I think the biggest factor for the Chinese film directors and producers to take advantage of should be the increasing attention from the international community about the Chinese culture, Chinese language, because of the rise of the Chinese economic power. Okay, and such kind of attention could be translating into interest in film titles coming from China. Okay, but I guess in the meantime, we need to talk about the challenge. Unlike the more mature markets, including Taiwan, and Hong Kong, they have produced several first-tier directors who are recognized internationally. Okay, for example, Li An, his film title has already won his Academy Award. He's a great film director, and unlike those more mature markets, China's film industry has opened door less than 10 years ago. Basically, the system has not been there for long enough so that we have nurtured our own successful directors. Of course, we have film directors who are very well recognized domestically. Feng Xiaogang, Jiang Wen, those kind of film directors. But in the meantime, they are less recognized internationally. Okay, and we need a group of film directors who are really capable of telling a China story in a more Hollywood way, in a more universally accepted way. Okay, in that regard, I believe An Li has set a perfect example, and mainland Chinese directors need to really catch up. I'm not saying the Chinese film directors are stupid. They are actually very smart. It takes time for them to get enough exposure to the Western society by living there or studying over there for a significant period of time, so that they could know how to tell a China story in an American way.
Yes,
okay, that's very important. And also, I think another challenge for the Chinese film industry to go outside is basically the stereotype. Okay, the stereotype meaning the Western world always believes that Chinese people can only fight. Okay, martial arts type of films. Look at this. The track record: Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon. Hero, and also Fearless. Those kind of basically Jet Li and Jackie Chan are the only, and maybe Zhang Ziyi. Those are the only few, Chinese talents, creative talents, who are recognized in mainstream in Hollywood film circle. But in the meantime, Jet Li and Jackie Chan are both involved in martial arts type of films.
In the previous time, the international judges or directors seems to be more interested in the kung fu movie, and the movie that related to rural China that reflects the backward of China. Are this changing? And have you ever find any evidence in this year's Cannes International Film?
I think this is gradually changing, but I think at a rate which is less than ideal for me. As I said earlier, Chinese people not only fight, they also think, they also fall in love, they also are crying out for friendship, they also need to realize their own personal goal in their lives, etc., etc. But we those kind of sentiments or dreams or aspirations are shared by people everywhere in the world. Okay, but it's just we need people to be creative enough and to be talented enough so that he could tell the story in a more acceptable way. Basically, it's definitely achievable. Look at this. I mean, I can show you this one example. There is this Hong Kong-based film called The Infernal Affair, okay, which was adapted into The Departed, okay, featuring Leonardo DiCaprio. And that film actually won that year's Academy Award, okay? But don't forget, that film, the story is actually coming from a China story, okay? It's only just being remade, and the background is reset to a US background, which is more acceptable. So I think it's not that Chinese people are not creative enough, not talented enough. It's just we need a little bit more time for the film circle, the Chinese film circle, to figure out how to do this in a concerted way.
What type of Chinese film do you think will be successful or attractive for international audience?
I would say at this moment, it's a pity that only kung fu, martial arts type of films are popular. But I guess sooner or later, even the North American audience would be fed up with just Chinese people fighting with each other. Okay, those are not very mentally nutritious, I would say. So I would say going forward, I would really look forward to seeing a more diversified genre being promoted to the American market and being accepted by the American or international audience. And it takes time, but I'm pretty confident that we can do that. We can talk about the film titles, can talk about those general humanitarian topics, which everybody in the world would care about.
It's time for another cup of tea now.
Okay. Okay, so smell it first. Yeah, this is more familiar flavor for me because I was born and raised in South China, and I'm more used to drinking that kind of tea. Yeah, but of course I love pu'er too.
As the Chief Financial Officer of Bona Film, you helped the company to be on the U.S. stock market last December.
Yeah.
How did you and your colleagues try to convince the investors in the USA?
Yeah, actually, our stock was over 10 times subscribed during the IPO offering. I would say the way we went about doing that is to tell the U.S. investors that unlike the U.S. market, where the total box office is stabilizing at approximately $10 billion per year domestically. Okay, unlike that, the China film box office is really growing, at a dramatic rate in the past few years, at least 40 to 50% per year. And going forward, we would foresee that growth rate at this rate in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, why is that? Because basically it's driven by the penetration of more screens, more theaters. Okay, don't forget the fact that in the U.S., we're talking about approximately 300 million population sharing 39,000 screens. Okay, whereas in China, we're talking about 1.3 billion population, which by the end of last year only had access to 6,200 screens. Okay, so that means on a per million population basis, basically people would have dramatically smaller number of screens in China versus in the U.S. Okay, then basically the China film industry is a commercial story. It's a consumer story. Mm-hmm. Okay, we are increasing. We're seeing the total box office growing year over year at this rate, because of the fact that more screens are being added to the marketplace day after day. So as we are speaking, now, today, at least 5-6 screens are being built. Okay, so last year a total of 1,500 screens were built. This year we're foreseeing that at least 2,500 screens would be built by the end of this year.
And as a CFO, what are the biggest challenges you're facing every day?
Biggest challenge, I would say, being CFO is already hard enough. But in the meantime, being CFO of a movie company is really, pretty tough. As a public listed company, you are required by your investors to provide visibility, day in, day out. Okay, mm-hmm. They need to know how much money you can make by the end of this year. Okay. However, as a film distributor, we are a vertically integrated, model. We have film distribution as our core business, but in the meantime, we expand upstream to production, and we also expand downstream to movie theater business, and we also have our advertisement business and talent agency business. That's 5 different models of our business. Despite the fact that our business model is integrated and diversified, sometimes, nobody has a crystal ball in the world, right? You do not have a crystal ball to tell investors that, for film title X, it's going to make you, Y amount of US dollars by the end of, next quarter. It's hard to do that, right? But, what we are trying to do here is to, provide a portfolio strategy to the investors so that we can actually, within the portfolio composed of 20 film titles, we can actually hedge between each other. Okay, one film could be lagging behind, but other film titles could be well ahead of our forecast, so that we hedge against each other, and on a corporate level we still get a pretty even corporate bottom line. But that's already hard enough for me.
Okay, Mason, I hope you and your company can distribute more touching and commercially successful Chinese movie toward their audiences.
To the domestic market as well as internationally.
Please have a cup of tea.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.